Welcome in. Bring the Thunder podcast here with Thunder fan zone Landon and Jack. Thunder coverage. We're going to be talking about Thomas Sorber, the 15th pick. Also, we're going to talk about the trade that we had on draft night, give some draft grades here. We're going to start up some of this film and talk a little bit about Thomas Sorber, man. Let's kick things off. What do you guys think about this pickup for us?
It's good value at 15. I think Sam Presti made the pick thinking into the future. We have Hartenstein, who's on an expensive contract. We have Jay Will, his future on the team's kind of in there. I would personally love to keep him around as like a locker room presence, kind of a keep him around as a loyal guy who spends his whole career here, but I don't know. That may be dreaming. And then you have Chet. So this guy's 19. He probably still needs 2 or 3 years to grow in the league, so the timeline just kind of works out.
Yeah. What do you think,
Yeah,
Jack?
I think it's a great pick. Just adding better defense. One of the better defenses of this draft to the best defense in the league. We saw it with Casey Wallace a couple years ago. Not much to it. Probably the best pick. A couple guys like Cedric Cow, Derek Queen went just before us that were on everyone's OKC big boards, but I'm pretty happy with it. Like Landon said, great developmental big that we can bring up, depending on what happens to our bigs in the future. But either way, great to have this big depth. Going into the draft, we really said that we need either consistent shooting or a big to bring up for when Hartenstein eventually leaves, and that's been answered here. So I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I would say I'm overall like happy with the trade or happy with this pick, I guess. Um, he's got the length, he's got the defense. He was ranked as like the second best defender in the class. Like he's 6'9", 6'10", got good size. Out of the Presti mold, he can play make. I think we needed more playmaking. He can be someone that's at the top of the key. Playmaking, as you guys can probably see, some of the passes that he'll make in the highlights. And then also he's good in the post, some rim pressure. I don't think we had enough consistent rim pressure. We have a lot of jump shooters, and that can vary when you're in the playoffs and just in the regular season as well, where we have stretches where we don't make a lot of shots. And so this is a guy that can just go get a bucket when we need a bucket. High motor guy. We needed someone like this. I've been waiting for Presti to draft another, power forward that's a little bit more traditional. I think he's going to be solid for us. And he's not just a traditional power forward. Like he can do a lot of other things. The other big thing that I had a question mark on was, can he guard the perimeter? And from the highlights that I've seen, he's guarding smaller guards. We'll just see if he can do that in the NBA because it's a different level of athletes. So those are the only like concerns that I have is like if he can, develop that 3-point shot. He's got good mid-range, like face-up play. So overall, he's good. Like you can see he moves his feet pretty quick. Even when he gets beat because of his length, he'll get blocks on guys. But in the NBA, he's going to have to develop his speed. So there's going to be some developmental pieces to his game. But overall, I think he can come in and play decent minutes for us, probably just to start off the season. Him and Topic in the summer league are going to dominate, like probably demolition job. So I'm at least excited about that. What kind of draft grade are you giving this one, Landon?
I'd go with B. It's very good value at 15. You're probably getting the best guy you can get. I was between when I saw the guys that were available at 15. I thought it was going to be him or Newell. And then Asa Newell dropped very far into the 20s. I'm not sure exactly what pick. That kind of shocked me. But just a B because I mean I would have loved to get like a wing guy like Carter Bryant or Cedric Coward. Cedric Coward went really high, which honestly wasn't a shock to me. He's a lot lower on some mock drafts, but he ended up going where I thought he would go. I thought if we wanted to get him, we might have had to trade up. And Carter Bryant went to the Spurs the pick before us. But I would go with B just because it solves a lot of roster construction issues we might face in the future. And Sam Presti is already thinking one step ahead. We're not going to have to bring in a if this guy ends up developing into what he's supposed to be, we're not going to have to go to free agency and sign a big or trade some of our guys and go get a big because we'll already have one on our roster.
Yeah, completely agree. What do you think, Jack?
I got an A for draft grade. I think for what Presti could have done with that pick, I think that's the most we could have asked for him. I'm sure. Well, there was reports he tried to trade up, but I think some teams would have been a bit salty that we just won and trying to trade up and probably denied us. So, not much you can do. I mean, out of the players left, there's no one else I would have preferred other than Thomas Sorber. But yeah, it's hard to get someone with a better fit if we didn't trade up. So I think that's the best case scenario. So A.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I do want to say he wasn't able to do pre-draft workouts because of a toe injury. So I think he should be all good there. But it's definitely interesting that Presti kind of just drafted him off Phil and not actually getting a glimpse of him in a workout.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting piece. That's probably a reason that he fell a little bit further, because I feel like if he did do draft workouts, he would have been drafted much higher for the type of skill level that he's at. I'm going to give this an A minus for where we were picking all the guys that were picked before him. So for value, I think it's really good to get like a top 2 defensive guy in the draft. That's a big man at that pick. I think that's really good. Let's move over to, if you guys have any other thoughts on this, you guys can mention it now. But I want to mention over to the Kings trade at 24. What do you guys think about that one?
What is it?
Speculative,
Top
man.
16? Top
Yep.
16 protected?
So the exact
Yeah.
trade is the Sacramento Kings are sending a top 16 protected 2027 first round pick from San Antonio to Oklahoma City in exchange for the 24. And obviously they get Nick Clifford in that trade.
It's like you have a nucleus of guys who have proven they can win a championship. Why break it up? Why not stick with what you know wins championships? And you add 2 guys, that probably means you have to actually get rid of someone that's key to your rotation. But you draft one guy in the first round, you're probably good on that. And you also have Topic coming in. You have to keep that in mind. So it's probably the best move coming into this season. 2 first-round guys could really cause some roster problems, make life hard for Sam Presti. He just made his life 10 times easier by making that trade. And I think it's 2027 top 16 protected Spurs.
Yeah, that's from the
Yeah.
Spurs.
At the time, with their young core, they just added 2 more guys. They added Dylan Harper at 2, and then Carter Bryant the pick before us. By the time 2027 hits, they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're not going to be a bottom 16 team. So we're going to get that pick.
Yeah, I would assume the same thing. What do you think, Jack?
And
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say a 2027 pick in the 20s would be a lot more valuable to us than a pick in the 20s in 2025. He's just extending our timeline. He wants to turn this thing into a dynasty, and I can't blame him.
Yeah. As for grade, I'd probably give an A minus. Exactly what I mean. We were all expecting it. You can't draft 3 players this year because, I mean, even we don't know what's going to happen with the roster with Sorber now. But we basically just got the same pick 2 years later, which is perfect. Nick Clifford would have been nice, but again, how does he fit on the team? So this is exactly what Presti had to do, and for him to get it done is pretty cool. So I'm sure we'll be enjoying this pick in 2 years after our 3-peat.
Yeah, I'll side with the A minus grade. I mean, I guess there's a small chance the Spurs could have a fallout and end up screwing it up, but I really don't see that happening.
Yeah, I'll give this trade probably like a overall. Like, it was just kind of expected, needed to happen. There wasn't much value that you could really extract from it, so he kind of just got what he could, and I think it's okay. Like, it's solid. I guess moving over towards the second round for the next, I guess, pick number 44. What do you guys think about that? Any ideas on who will take over there?
I don't think it gets used, if I'm being honest. I mean, I guess that's two-way territory. So I mean, if we like, the only way I see Presti using it is if there's value there and there's a guy he pinpointed before the draft and that he really likes there. I guess
I
that is
think
two-way range. So I guess you could drop one of our two-way contracts and draft a guy there and sign them to a two-way contract if
I
the
think that's
opportunity presents itself.
definitely what we should do with our pick. Couple of names are Rashid Fleming and Maxime Reynaud. I think if we can get out with one of those guys, then this is going to be another world-class draft from Presti. I'm very high on Rashid Fleming. He fell into the second round, so I think it'd be a no-brainer to go and get him. Maybe trade up in the second round, but to add someone on a two-way, a bit like AJ Mitchell last year, and then if they're good enough, bring them onto the full, just to increase that depth at the 4 slot, or you could add some shooting. Who knows what Presti's going to do? I think it might be an older guy with a bit more experience we can add to this team. But I think
Wouldn't
a two-way
shock me if
contract will be the move.
Wouldn't shock me if it's just someone that can shoot the lights out of the ball,
Yeah,
Yeah, a name that
or someone super raw that we can develop behind the scenes.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a two-way guy. I think we take the pick because, like, why not? Why not, test someone out? We'll probably get a bunch of undrafted guys on the G League team anyways. So, Thunder are known for that developmental factor. The name that I've heard being thrown the most is the best shooter in the second round, which is Kobe Brea. We've seen that comment come in a lot. He's kind of recognized as one of the best shooters. So I think why not get him if we can trade up to get him? Because I don't think he's going to drop that far down. But also we've seen Presti use up a lot of his seconds because there's no real use for them in our case. Like there's not much value that we can extract from the seconds with the level of roster that we have. So I could see him trading up for that name or any other lights out shooter because shooting is a big need for us. The other thing I guess we could go for is maybe another playmaking guard on a two-way, similar to like AJ, maybe a little bit more size, something like that, just to have another guy just to see if that'll work out for us. But I'm excited to see what we do. And also I wanted to mention for Sorber, his stats as a freshman, he averaged 14.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 1.5 steals, 2 blocks per game while shooting 53% from the field. He only shot 16% from 3, but we've seen like our team develop guys like Jay Will into knockdown shooters. So I don't, I have faith in Chip, who's one of the best shooting coaches in the league, to develop him and, get a shot at least enough to where he can space the floor. He's not like a high volume shooter. Most of our team isn't high volume. And he's another guy that doesn't really require a lot of touches from what I've seen. So I think he fits in good with the system that we're trying to run.
and on the shooting,
Oh,
he shoots 70% from the free throws, so I think that shows he's got some framework, some foundations to build off. So I think he could become a shooter on the next level.
no, the form's there. It's a work in progress, and the free throw form looks good. I don't think he'll have it right away, but I think that's the next step in his NBA journey. It's developing an outside shot. And then back to the 44th pick, I was thinking about it, and I know Presti is always looking into the future. I would be shocked if all 3 of our two-way guys end up staying on two ways for in the long term. I think at least one of them is capable of being on an NBA team, and I see at least one of them ending up on an NBA contract somewhere. Because if you're a two-way guy, you're not just gonna sit and stay on a two-way. You want to make more money. You want to get more opportunity, and I mean, a standard NBA contract's better than a two-way contract.
Yeah, I agree. I think Presti's very communicative with his players, so he's going to definitely, make the best opportunity for them and, let them know early that what he's thinking about and what they're thinking about. Anytime someone asks out from Sam Presti, he usually obliges with them. He's very player friendly. But that's kind of all for you guys in terms of our draft analysis, grades, and everything else like that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We got more content coming out. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe, and we appreciate you guys. Hit that like button as well. Thank you so much.